Welcome to my personal channel, aka Kate's Anxiety Thoughts. I'm just going to be talking about all the different things I'm thinking about in life, all of my looming anxieties, the things I'm talking about in therapy, and today I've just been feeling like I am not ready to have kids. I'm turning 33 soon, and I know that I want a family someday, at some point. I'm just not, I'm not ready to have kids at all. I think I have one friend left who doesn't have a kid, and I just feel like everybody's kind of passing me by. You know, I'm unmarried, I'm not a homeowner. Physically, I feel like I'm about 70 years old because I have a disease called EDS. Emotionally, I feel like I'm 25. So I've just been thinking a lot about, looming death, as one does. I just feel like it's so wholly cruel that we as a species get to live longer and we get to have these longer lives than we did in, like, I don't know, the 1800s. But our biological clocks aren't really changing that much. I don't know, it feels so confusing and conflicting because, like, I don't want to be a mom before I'm ready. And I know that all my mom friends say stuff like, well, you can never really be ready. No one's ever ready and, like, mentally, physically, and financially prepared to have kids, like, you just kind of have to jump in with both feet. But I don't want to be like that. I'm the kind of person who prepares. I'm more, I guess you'd classify it as type A, but I just really like to be organized, prepared, ready for everything, have all the information that I need. And more importantly, I just feel like I have not lived my life enough yet. I haven't, done the things that I want to do before having a family. And sure, you can have a career as a mom, as a parent, you can travel as a parent, you can do all the things you want to as a family, but I don't want to. I don't know, all of this is at the forefront of my mind right now because we're about to freeze our embryos, my partner John and I. All of the sinking in, realizing that you're making these little embryos that might become kids one day is fucking crazy. I'm very lucky to be able to afford freezing embryos because it's super expensive and I wish it were more accessible. I'm excited to know that maybe if I'm not ready to have kids until I'm like 38, 39, 40, that then I can have healthy, younger embryos on hand. But I also have these conflicting thoughts about, like, being an older mom or having an age gap with my kid. I have a 40-year age gap with my parents. My partner John has over a 40-year age gap with his dad. And, sometimes that does present a lot of challenges. But I also don't want to have a kid before I'm ready. Sorry, my friend sent me a TikTok and I got distracted. I have been in therapy for a long time and I'm kind of in the process right now of feeling really free and like I'm coming into myself for the first time ever, really coming into the person that I've always wanted to be for the first time. Someone who is a lot more free from criticism, someone who's more secure in themselves. And I just feel like for the first time, I'm living a completely different life in a completely different, body or headspace almost. And that's what happens when, you go through trauma and you start to heal from it. Your whole world kind of opens up and it feels like this new world, this new life. And in the past year, throughout all of 22, that's really what I've been working on. Another kind of hammer thrown in the mix there is that with a lot of my physical disorders and some of the genetic diseases I have, traveling has been a nightmare for me. It's really exhausting and painful and difficult to travel. I get sick, I am in pain. Every food that I eat when I travel totally messes my GI system up. I end up being sick the whole time. And I know that traveling is totally a privilege. And I also know that you're able to travel on a budget, but for me and my needs, with all of my physical ailments, it is a lot more expensive for me to travel, to stay in places that kind of help maintain or like keep some of my symptoms at bay a little bit, staying in nicer places that are quieter where I can get better sleep. So I haven't really had the opportunity to travel that much just because I simply couldn't afford it until now-ish. And I just feel like I owe myself all of these different life experiences that I want to have before I become a mom, because when I become a mom, I want to be able to be somewhat laser focused. I want to be able to really like throw myself in Anywho, I know I'm not alone in this. Millennials in general, like, we grew up watching 9/11 happen and being completely traumatized by that. There's this kind of like facade of innocence was taken away. And obviously, you know, there are things that people have experienced in different countries that are equally as traumatizing. So I'm just talking about the perspective of millennials in America. That really, I think, shaped a lot of people and their lives. Then when you combine that with things like the crash of 2008 and then huge job crisis, I feel like a lot of people like me also feel really behind, really want a family for themselves. They're in their, you know, their 30s, they're almost in their 40s, maybe some of them are in their 40s, and don't really know what to do about it because they feel like these two biological needs are just conflicting against each other. One is the biological need to have a family. The other is like the biological need for safety and stability. And those are the two things that are like really pushing and pulling against each other for me right now. I also want to be really conscious about when I choose to become a mom because, you know, I have a tumultuous relationship at best with my mom. And I've been told by my therapist that like when you become a mom, a whole bunch of shit just comes up and just comes out. And you're gonna have to like process on the spot and like correct yourself on the spot and mother yourself on the spot. And holy hell, I mean, that sounds rough. That sounds like like a second job on top of being a mom is like learning to mother yourself as you're mothering someone else. But I've talked to some friends, a lot of them have actually said that being a mom really helped to heal them. And so that's something that I also look forward to and feeling like, okay, maybe I'm gonna be a better mom because of these experiences. Maybe I'm gonna be like acutely aware of how I'm parenting. So that's something that I'm trying to look on the bright side and see, rather than just looking at all of this as a negative. Some of these things I can take in and understand that they make me a better person and I can be a better parent because of it. I've had a relationship with my partner, John, now. We've been together for about 7.5 years and we're now finally at the point where we're feeling like we're ready to get married. And we just feel like we have so many experiences that we haven't done yet and so many things we want to accomplish before becoming parents. And another factor for me that definitely plays a huge part in this is I hate babies. Like when I see babies, I just get this like awful stress of, I don't know what you are, I don't know what to do with you, I don't know what you want, you're loud, you're gross, and I don't find you cute at all. That's how I've always been. I think I've held a baby once in my life. I just kind of like held it like this and did not know what to do with it. And I'm so terrified that my maternal instinct won't kick in. And I've heard that from so many friends too. Some of my friends have had babies during the pandemic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people I know, some that I'm really close with, some that I just know distantly, have had babies during the pandemic and they regretted it. Said, they wished that they had waited several more years. It was too soon. I know that like you just share the negatives with your friends. Rarely with your friends do you share how great your life is, what an awesome day you're having, how great it is to be a mom. Most people in friendships lean on friendships to vent. And so you hear the negatives of a relationship or of being a parent or your job. That's how we process things, is vent and get it off your chest, just like I'm doing right now. And so I totally recognize that a lot of those friends just needed a place, a safe space to put their thoughts, but it's also kind of negatively impacted me in just hearing all of this feedback about how people wish they had waited a few years and had more experiences. And so that's what I'm more focused on, but my timeline is not stopping. And you know, I recognize that a lot of this could be really specific to me because of my particular upbringing and my particular relationship with my family. We grew up, I guess what you'd consider upper middle class. And then around 2008, all that changed. We lost a lot. Having gone through that in my teenage years, going into college, I'm so hyper-focused on being ready to be a mom because of that experience, having gone through feeling financial stability as a kid and a teenager and then having the rug totally just pulled out from under me. I don't want that feeling, not just for my kids, but for myself. You know, I don't want to go through that ever again. Even though You don't have to be rich to have a kid. Everyone is able to have a kid, and everyone should be able to have a kid. Also, you can't predict what's gonna happen in life. But I just feel so drawn towards stability as like my number one driver in life. I know I've talked about this a lot on my main channel on State of Kait with some people in the comments, but those of you who have also been through a period of financial instability, who've lived paycheck to paycheck like I have, a lot of you guys get it, that like we would take stability over love sometimes. A lot of times. Maybe all the time. And so that's something that I'm trying to work on. And so these are all topics that I'm thinking about in therapy. And I know that I'm not past my prime. I know that I've got some years left, but it doesn't matter. All these thoughts and feelings are valid, and everything in life is relative. And it just feels nice to have a place to put them and hope that maybe people out there can relate and connect. And if you don't relate or connect, that's fine too. But this is just a place for people who, like me, are kind of feeling it, are feeling a little bit of that Stranger Things clock, you know, coming for you. Anyways, I should probably get back to work, but I'm super excited about this channel because I have 50 subjects that I want to talk about. Chronic illness, about how healing is not linear, about what I've learned in couples therapy, what I learned in my 20s or what I wish I knew in my 20s, topics about friendships, how friendships change, how I've been able to solidify some of my friendships and really deepen them. My career goals have completely changed in the past few weeks. I have all these different subjects that I want to share, all of these different subjects that I'm hoping people can really relate to, and I'm excited and hoping that this channel can be a place where we can just bitch a little bit, because sometimes that's all we need to feel better, and that's something that we talk about a lot in couples therapy. I don't always need anyone to solve the problem. Social media sometimes can be a little bit too curated, and sometimes it's nice to just be able to like be your raw self and have a place to put your feelings. And so that's what this was, and thanks for watching. I'm gonna get back to work and hope you're having a great day.